He is an economics expert, finance expert, and statistics expert with Portland State University. He is also an economics consultant with Econ Northwest and Econ One Research. Please welcome Dr. Eric Fruits. And last but not least, he is a state representative from, again, here in Spokane, a Republican elected from the 6th District. He serves on the Business and Financial Services Committee and the Appropriations Subcommittee on General Government in the State House. He teaches in the MBA program at Gonzaga and Whitworth, and he owns a chain of Dutch Brothers coffee shops in Spokane. Please welcome Representative Kevin Parker. All right, this is our panel. Right now, though, before we get things started, we want Nathan Young to come up. He is the editorial page editor for the College Bulletin newspaper here at Gonzaga, and he is going to set things up for tonight's discussion. Thanks, Nathan.
Okay, thanks again for coming out tonight, guys. As many of you have heard, this is really loud. As many of you have heard, in the State of the Union address this year, President Obama is now pushing for an increase in the federal minimum wage. Currently, the wage sits at $7.25 an hour. The President proposes increasing this to $10.10 for workers nationwide. This has given national attention to an issue that's growing in both awareness and controversy throughout the 50 states and in local communities around the country. For clarification, states are able to set their own minimum wage levels at whatever amount they see fit. However, employers must abide by whichever level is higher, whether that's the state or the federal minimum wage. As of January 1, 21 states and the District of Columbia have minimum wage levels higher than the federal level. One such state is Washington, which has become the center of attention nationally for the growing minimum wage debate at both the state and the local levels statewide. While the current state minimum wage is $9.32 an hour, the highest in the nation, legislators are now proposing to increase that to $12 an hour by the beginning of 2017. The Democrat-controlled State House has crafted this proposal, arguing that it will help close the income gap and lift people out of poverty. On the other side, Republican-led State Senate opposes the idea, arguing that it would put state businesses at an even further competitive disadvantage, driving businesses out of the area, discouraging future businesses to locate here, and ultimately leading to job cuts for those who need the money the most. By the end of this year's legislative session, which ended in mid-March, no progress has been made on this proposal yet, but you can be sure it will be a major issue in the next election cycle, as well as in the 2015 legislative session. Bypassing this gridlock at both the state and the national levels, local areas have taken the initiative to figure out this minimum wage issue on their own. Voters in SeaTac, Washington, as many of you probably heard, approved a measure in November that increased the city's minimum wage to $15 an hour for certain workers at the beginning of this year. Though the measure passed by fewer than 100 votes, organizations in Seattle and around the country have taken notice and are using the victory as a platform for similar measures in their communities. Shama Sawant, the newly elected Seattle City Council member, campaigned on this very issue, what many argue is the reason that she won her election and was the first member of the Socialist Alternative Party to win a major election in the state in recent memory. She is leading the charge to bring a similar measure before the people of Seattle in the November 2014 election. She and the larger growing push for a $15 minimum wage has even gained the support of newly elected Seattle Mayor Ed Murray, who has publicly pushed for the increase as well. In all, the growing importance and controversies surrounding this issue at the local, state, and national levels has come down to two opposing viewpoints on this matter. One side argues that an increased minimum wage will lift people out of poverty and help counter growing levels of income inequality. The other, arguing that it would result in price increases and job losses for the very people the raise is intended to help. Earlier this year, the Congressional Budget Office, which is a nonpartisan federal agency, projected the economic impact of the president's plan to increase the federal minimum wage from $7.25 to $10.10 an hour. What they found gave those on both sides reason to claim victory. The report found that this increase would indeed lift hundreds of thousands of people out of poverty. But it also found that as a result, it may result in roughly 500,000 others losing their jobs. So it appears as if both sides are technically correct. Raising the minimum wage will both help and hurt members of our community. The question we ask tonight then is, which impact is greater? In all, is an increased minimum wage an opportunity creator or a job killer? Tonight we hope our panelists can answer that question. And with that, I'll turn it over to them.
All right, thank you, Nathan. Before we move to opening statements with our panel, I wanted to introduce